Welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur, the podcast for mums with an online business who are ready to take back their time, home, business and self so they can restore the balance and thrive, both at home and at work, without feeling like they have to choose between the two. I'm your host, Sarah Dew, life and biz coach for mompreneurs. I'm also a mum, stepmom, wife, introvert, breast cancer survivor, and your mentor for making a change for the better. I've learned how to go from surviving to thriving and unapologetically create a business I love and the life I want for me and my family without worrying about what other people think. And now I'm here to help you do the same. Because being an unapologetic mompreneur doesn't mean that we're selfish or that we don't care about others. It simply means that we are not afraid to show up as our true, authentic selves, to step into our purpose, do what we know is right for ourselves and the ones we love, and take the steps we need to take to make our dream life and business a reality. Join me each week where I'll be sharing all of my best tips and strategies, plus the occasional dose of tough but gentle love to help you feel empowered, motivated, and confident to take action so that you can become the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. So, are you ready to unapologetically create a business and life you love? Let's do this. Hey there, and welcome to episode 40 of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. Whether your kids are off already or it is happening very soon, spending quality time with them while still getting things done in our business over the summer break is one of the biggest challenges for us mompreneurs. If you feel torn between spending time with your kids and your laptop when the summer holidays strike, I have got you. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing some tips and strategies that you can use to not only help you get prepped and prepared for the holidays, but also so that you can have things ticking along nicely in your business and knowing that things are still happening, that things are still getting done, without feeling guilty like you're neglecting the business or neglecting your kids, so that you are free to then actually enjoy that quality time with your kids, knowing that everything is still all okay in your business. And that then come September or whenever your kids go back to school, you know that you can pick everything back up again and you are ready to hit that ground running and carry on where you left off without any stress or overwhelm. Now, before I dive in and share what those strategies are, if you do feel like that your business is running up against your family and that they're not working together and you wish that you had a strategy, you wish that you had a way that business fitted seamlessly around the needs of your family, or that quarterly planning or 90-day years and all of those different planning strategies don't work for you as a mum trying to run an online business, I have a strategy and something that is going to help you change all of that. And that is my mum boss term time strategy. Because all of those things that they don't work for you, it is not your fault. Those 90-day planning things, those quarterly planning, the 90-day years and all of that stuff, that doesn't fit and take into account the needs of a mum running a business around family and home life. But my term time mum boss strategy does. And so if you are ready to take back control and to be able to have your business fit seamlessly around the needs of your family, and for you to take off and enjoy every single school holiday without feeling guilty and without any disruption to your business whatsoever, you are going to want to adopt this term time strategy. I added this to my life and my business, and I completely ditched everything that I had done before of all of those quarterly planning and goal setting strategies for my business. And I changed things up and I run my business now to fit the academic school year of Harrison. And it has made such a difference. And now every single holiday, I get to enjoy that time off with him without any disruption to my business whatsoever. It still ticks along, it still brings me income, and I can pick it back up when he goes back to school in September, and I can just keep going. And I'm not feeling guilty that I'm neglecting my business. I'm not feeling guilty that I'm not spending time with Harrison, because my business runs around the needs of my family. My business is structured so that all of my goals, everything I'm working on, is all set to fit around his term times. There's no feeling like I'm behind. There's no constant feeling like I'm playing catch up. And so if you want that too, I want to invite you to come and sign up for my masterclass, where I will be sharing my term time strategy, my mum boss strategy that will help you to do exactly the same, to redesign and throw out the rule book of all of the ways that you've been told in the past to run your business and getting frustrated and annoyed and feeling like there is something wrong with you because it doesn't work when you are running a business alongside a family. I'm going to show you how to turn all of that on its head, how I set up my term time strategy, how I run my business to match all of Harrison's school terms, what I do to prep things running each term, what I do to check in halfway through and all of the term breaks to see where I'm at and make sure I'm on track, and what I do in the weeks running up to a school holiday coming up so that I can make sure that I'm set and prepared, so that I know that my business is going to keep going, so that I know that everything is set and is running on clockwork, on autopilot as best I can, so that I am free to then spend time with him. And then if I choose to work in the summer holidays and there's a day free, I can do that without feeling guilty that I'm neglecting him. If you want that in your business too, and you want that for your family too, come and sign up for the workshop that is happening very, very soon. You will find the link to do that in the show notes. And with that out of the way, let's dive in. Here are the 5 strategies that you can use to help you enjoy your summer break and thrive in your business without hitting burnout or without feeling like you are neglecting your role as a CEO of the business and as a mum. I have been there. I know exactly what it's like when the holidays are coming up and you're just feeling like you've just got into your groove and you are making progress with your goals. You look at the calendar, you look at your diary, and you realize it's like 3, 4, 5 weeks until the school holidays. And you know that it's going to be 6, 7 weeks of trying to juggle all of the things, trying to make sure that your kids are entertained, that you are spending quality time with them, but that you are also still getting things done in your business. And that can be such a stressful time for us as mums. Feeling that tear between the laptop and between the things that we should be doing, the things that we want to be doing, the things that we want to do in our business, the goals that we want to work on, still serving our clients, but then also wanting to spend time with our kids, to want to enjoy days on the beach, to walk in a forest, to go and do all of the things that you would do together as a family, to even take a break and go away on holiday. Knowing that that is all coming up and you've got a few weeks left until it happens, that can be such a stressful time because not only are you trying to think about what you need to do to organize to make summer happen for your family, you are then starting to look at everything that you haven't yet accomplished in your business and to start feeling stressed and overwhelmed of, am I going to get all of these things done? What is next? What have I not yet accomplished? And you can even start making you feel like you're a failure because you're not where you want to be yet. And that panic starts to set in that you've only got a few more weeks. What are you going to do? What are you going to get done? Have I got time for it? All of that jazz. Get ready to relieve yourself from all of that because these 5 strategies are going to help you. Before I adopted my term time strategy, which if you haven't joined the masterclass waitlist for, go and do that. But before I brought that strategy in, these are the things that I used to help me try and set my business up and do what I could to plan and prep for the holidays. And it doesn't just have to be summer, it can be every school holiday. This works. These are the strategies that I always used to use. And for any of my clients that haven't yet adopted the term time strategy, these are the ones that I would get them to do to set themselves up, to give them that peace of mind that their business can be taken care of during the summer break so that they can spend quality time with their kids. So go and grab a piece of paper and a pen because you are going to want to write these down. They are super simple but super powerful and really will help you feel that you are still in that driving seat, that you are still in control, that your business is still going to keep running over the summer break, but you are going to get to enjoy quality time with your kids at the same time. So strategy number 1, step number 1 is to plan in advance. So if you, like me, you are in the UK, we have still got a few more weeks yet until the kids break up from school. If you're listening to this in real time, this episode is going out in June and our kids don't break up here in the UK until towards the end of July. So you've still got around 4 or 5 weeks. Use that time to your advantage. use that time to help you plan, knowing that the holidays are on the horizon, but that you've still got a few weeks to go yet. Use that time to your advantage because a little planning really does go a long way. And by using the weeks running up to the school holidays to plan and prep and schedule what you can in advance is going to make your life so much easier. You are going to enter into the school holidays and knowing that all of the things that you need to do normally every single week have already been taken care of, and that lightened load has just relieved some of that pressure so that you're then not out at the beach with the kids or at the zoo with the kids thinking, I've got to get home and send my weekly email. I've got to get home and go and create the next week's worth of Instagram posts. You don't need to worry about that if you use the coming weeks in the run up to the school holidays as that time to get the things done that you can get out there and scheduled so that you know that they are done and ready and you're not having to worry about doing them whilst you're out on a day out with your kids. Take a look at how many weekly emails or blog posts or podcast episodes or YouTube videos or social media posts you would normally send out, write, or publish. Jot those down and work out the numbers for those, and then get them done now over the coming weeks and get them scheduled so that you are not worrying about sending those emails or posting on social media while you're at the beach or the zoo with your kids. So for me, that's exactly what I've been doing these past few weeks is I have been batch recording podcast episodes. I have been batch writing and scheduling all of my summer emails. I have been batch creating any social posts for my Facebook group so that I know that they are done and taken care of. And then I can go and have days out with Harrison and I'm not worrying that I've got to come back home and send my weekly email, that I've got to come back home and record a podcast episode for next week because I haven't done it yet. It makes it so much easier and it takes away the pressure. Instead of worrying about or thinking about a launch or anything right now, focus on and use these few weeks that you've got in the run up to the school holidays to your advantage. That planning, that prepping, that creating, that batch creating now and that scheduling is going to take away so much pressure. I can't tell you the number of times in previous years, in the early days of my business, over the summer breaks where I would be sitting there trying to write a blog post just before going out with Harrison for the day. Or even my husband doing the driving and I would have the laptop on my lap in the car while we're going from place to place away on holiday and I would be writing my blog posts. And that was bonkers. That was not the reason I set up my business. I set up my business to give myself and my family that freedom so that it fitted and to have my business fit around the needs of my family. Not for me to sit there in the car with the laptop on my lap, writing a blog post, creating Instagram stories and sending out, creating and writing my emails while he's driving us out for the day because I wasn't prepared in advance. It used to stress me out so much. And this using these 4 or 5 weeks in the run up to the school holidays to prep and do things over the summer was one of the things that kind of triggered me to think about totally switching the way I run my business on its head and to bring in my mum boss term time strategy because it made sense to use that time to set and prep everything before the school holidays so that I was then free to enjoy the holidays without worrying about all of that stuff that the back end day-to-day stuff that we have to do to keep our businesses ticking over. So go and grab your diary, go and dig out your calendar, go and count how many weeks you have got between now and the school holidays, between now and when your kids finish school, and look at the number of weeks that you have got left. Use those weeks to help you prep in advance. Count the number of weeks that they are off from school until they go back and work out the number of weekly emails, the number of blog posts, the number of social media posts you would normally create, and set aside time over the coming weeks to get those done. And here is a top tip. Don't do it just for when they go back to school. Add an extra week or so on afterwards so that you are not instantly playing catch up the very second that they go back to school. It took me a couple of years to work this one out because I would do it and think, great, I'm all set for the summer. I've got everything scheduled. Harrison would go back to school. First day back in the office for me, I'd look at it all and think, oh crap, I haven't got an email for this week. I haven't got a blog post for this week. Add the extra week on and you really will thank yourself, because it will give you just that little bit of saving grace, that little bit of extra room, and just relieve some of that pressure so that you've got a bit of time to ease yourself back into your routine gently without hitting it like a mad rush. So work out the number of weeks, work out what it is that you would normally send out and create and publish during that time, and get it done now. You'll be amazed at how much freer and less stressed you feel when you're wandering around that zoo, when you're wandering down on the beach, when you're in town shopping with the kids, that you don't have to worry about those things because they are already taken care of. Strategy number 2 is to don't be afraid to scale things back. Now that brings us nicely onto this point, because if you're thinking, crikey, how on earth over the next few weeks am I going to batch and schedule 7 emails, 7 podcast episodes, 7 blog posts? How on earth am I going to get all of that done? How am I going to create? My math is rubbish. So 1 single post on Instagram every day for 7 weeks, 35 posts. How am I going to batch, create, and schedule 35 posts in this space time? Don't be afraid to scale things back. The key to thriving both at home and in your business when the kids are off is being realistic about what you can accomplish. So don't be afraid to scale things back for a few weeks and save bigger projects for when the kids are back at school. Maybe decide that you're only going to launch a blog post once every other week, or that instead of posting every day on social media, you're just going to do every other day or 2 times a week. Don't be afraid in the summer break to scale things back, because everybody else is going to be off doing things anyway, that it's highly unlikely that they're going to be checking every day and think, she hasn't posted every day this week. They're not going to be doing that. So free yourself from that pressure. That where we were talking about in strategy 1 about planning in advance is, if you feel like that sending all of those emails out and getting all of those episodes recorded or those blog posts written or all of those social media posts created is just a bit too daunting and a bit too much, know that it's okay to scale things back for a few weeks and save all of those other bigger projects when the kids are back at school. One of the reasons I batch record podcast episodes before the school holidays is that I know that the school holidays is not the time for me to record those. It's just not going to happen, for one, because Harrison's going to come in and interrupt. There's going to be lots of noise. It's just not going to work. So that's why I know that I do those beforehand. But I also know over the summer break is that I'm not going to start focusing on big projects that are not important right now, projects that can wait until September, projects that are just not going to be able to focus on when you know you've got kids and family at home and lots going on. So give yourself permission to wait, to just scale things back for a while, and know that it's okay to just do the bare minimum and let things tick over. And you can save the bigger projects and the bigger tasks for when they're back at school. Strategy number 3 is to establish your boundaries. I used to really, really wrestle with that mum guilt that I was neglecting Harrison when I was working on my business. And sometimes during the summer breaks, as much as we need to take time off, there will be times that we do have to work on our businesses, that there are things that just have to be done. And that can raise that ugly head of its mum guilt. But just like I share that we don't need to work on our business 24/7, our kids don't need our attention 24/7 either. And I know it's slightly easier for me now that Harrison is that bit older, but unless they are newborns or unable to occupy themselves for any length of time, it is perfectly okay to leave them to their own devices, maybe quite literally, in another room for an hour or 2. Independent play is great for your kids. It encourages them to use their imagination and it helps them to learn to enjoy their own company. Even 4 or 5 years ago, when Harrison was that little bit younger, when he was, 8 or 9, I would still set him off to his bedroom for a couple of hours so that I could get some work done. And it's perfectly fine to do that. They do not need to have our attention 24/7. Not only do we need time to rest and recharge for ourselves, but we need time sometimes to work on our businesses too. And it is okay for them to go and do something else by themselves. Set those boundaries, communicate them to your kids, tell them that they're going to have some time each day for independent play if you need to get some work done, and that they can have time with you afterwards once you have done what you need to do. It can take a few days for them to get used to it, but when they realize that there is time when you're working and there is time for play, and they know that they will get your attention afterwards, they will get used to it and they will adapt to it very, very quickly. Harrison knows now that when I'm working, I'm working. And when he has to occupy himself for a while, he will do that. And he knows afterwards that he gets quality time with me. But over the years, we have developed a really great strategy that works for us. And so if you're not sure how to get started on doing this, give this a try. It really, really does work. So when he's off for the holidays now and there's some time where I need to do some work, I will split my days up. So one day I'll work in the morning and in the afternoon we'll do something together. Another day we'll do something in the morning and I'll work in the afternoon. And then a couple of days each week, we will have a whole day out doing something together. It works really well because he knows that as well as me working, he also gets quality time with me too. And so on those times where he's having time with himself, now he can do a whole morning now, but previously it may have just been an hour or 30 minutes. Whatever the time span is that you know that your kids can go and occupy themselves for a while, go for that and build up from there. Because the more they get used to spending time with themselves and by themselves doing something with themselves, the longer and the more length of time you can add to it, the more they get used to it. And the older that they get, the more you can add the time to it as well. Harrison, now he's 13, he will quite happily go out in the garage and build his Warhammer and paint his Warhammer kits for 2 or 3 hours at a time without even coming in for any interruptions. And that helps because he's older. But 3 or 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I started with 30 minutes or half an hour, and then I would do something with him. Then he'd have another half an hour to go and do something by himself, and I'd do another half an hour work. Whether it meant that I was at the table in the same room as him or I was in a different room, it didn't matter. We just did what worked. But having that time where he is having independent play not only encouraged him to use his imagination, but like I said, it really helped him to learn to enjoy his own company. And now he's older, he is quite happy to go off and do his own thing because he knows that at the end of that, he's always then going to get time with me. And that is all because we set those boundaries and we stuck to them. I respected them and he learned to respect them too, knowing that we would then still have that time together. So if you're just starting out on it, try rotating it around. Like I said, I would work in the morning and in the afternoon we'd go and do something together. And then another day we would do something in the morning and then I would work in the afternoon. Switching it up and chopping and changing it so it's not too samey gives them that variety, but it also gives them that time to do independent play so they can get used to enjoying their own company and using their imagination. And then you get to do some work too. Strategy number 4 is to don't be afraid to ask for help. We cannot do it all, nor do we have to. I've said this before in previous episodes, but asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. And just like not being afraid of temporarily scaling things back, don't be afraid to ask for help and delegate or tag team with friends where you can to make your life easier. Can you baby swap with a fellow mum friend so that you can get some work done? And then can you return the favour for her too if she's got her own business or she just wants some time for herself? Are there any summer camps or school clubs that your child can go to for the day? I used to sign Harrison up for these and he loved them. Not only did he get to catch up with some of his friends that he hadn't seen over the break and to meet some new people too, but there was things like football camps and activity days and bug hunting sessions. He had a great fun doing things that I probably wouldn't have done with him. And it just gave him a change of scenery and a chance to run around like a mad thing and burn some energy off. So are there any summer camps or school clubs that you can sign them up to for the day? Or maybe even one of the week ones that run for a whole week? He did one a couple of years back in our local area with bushcrafting, where they were doing tasks in the forest and they were building dens and making campfires and doing leaf rubbings and all of that stuff. And he absolutely loved it. And I dropped him off, I think it was like, what was it, 9:30 until 3. It was literally school hours, I think. But he loved it. He was out and about playing in the woods all day with his friends. And I was actually getting some work done and it suited the both of us. And then after that, we had quality time together. So they can be a real, real growth saver and just help take away some of that feeling of that guilt of being torn between the laptop and spending time with your kids. And then if you've got relatives nearby, can they stay with grandparents or relatives for a few days? And then if your kids are old enough, don't be afraid to give them a few chores to help out around the home too. That counts as asking for help too. Get them involved. If they are old enough to take part and help in the chores, get them doing it. My eldest is responsible for doing the vacuuming, for taking the bins out and cleaning the main bathroom. And Harrison is responsible for laying and clearing the table, for loading the dishwasher and feeding the dogs. He even knows how to do his own washing now. Get them on board. Choose age appropriate chores. Have a look on Pinterest. There are a ton of age appropriate chore charts on Pinterest that you can have a look at and get some ideas of what kind of chores you can give your kids based on their age. If they're at home over the summer, instead of them just bumming around watching TV all day, get them on board, get them to help and relieve and take away some of that pressure and get them to just help so that you're working together as a family. Not only does that relieve the load from you, it also gives you more time because things get done faster because there's less for you to do because everybody is chipping in. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Whatever shape or form that looks like for you, know that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. And then finally, know that it is just for a few weeks. I know that the summer break can be a pretty stressful time when you are a mum with a business. We want to work on our business, but we also want to spend time with our kids. And that pull and that guilt and that pressure to be one or other and feeling like we're neglecting one or the other when we are with the other can really get us down. But there is only so much that we can do, and we cannot do it all. We only get 18 summers with our kids before they are all grown up. And one of the reasons that many of us choose to start an online business is because we want something that gives us the freedom and the flexibility to be with our kids and enjoy those precious moments with them whilst we can. So be realistic about what you can accomplish. Give yourself permission to scale back, knowing that it's just for a few weeks. And if you're not getting things done, that is okay because summer will be over before you know it. They'll be back to school before you know it. And just like the laundry, everything in your business is still going to be waiting for you when you dive back in. Know that it's just for a few weeks. Let it tick over. And it's fine. It will be okay. All will be fine. And you can pick up all of your big projects, all of your goals when they go back to school. Know that it is okay to spend that quality time because we only get those 18 summers with them before they are off and all grown up. So remember, be realistic about what you can accomplish. Give yourself permission to scale back, knowing that it is just for a few weeks. And if you really want a way to be able to tweak that so that you can let things tick over, to spend quality time with your kids without any disruption to your business or without wrestling and whacking with that mom guilt, make sure that you sign up for my Mum Boss Strategy workshop where I take you through that term time strategy so that you can ditch all of the other ways of doing your business like you've done before and rewrite the rules so that you can fit it seamlessly around what the needs are for your family on the summer holidays. Like I said at the beginning, when I started doing this strategy, when I completely changed how I was running my business and I made it to fit and designed it to fit around Harrison's needs and the school academic year, it changed everything because I was able to approach the summer break knowing that my business could still tick over and that things were done and that I could spend quality time with him without feeling guilty that I was neglecting one or the other. And if you want that too, go and add your name to that wait list for that workshop so that you know as soon as it's happening and you can come and discover how to create that Mum Boss term time strategy so that it works for you too. And in the meantime, adopt these strategies that I've just shared in this episode. They really will make all of the difference and help you set your summer up for success so that you can enjoy your summer with your kids and still accomplish in your business. So let's recap. Here they are again. Step number 1 is to plan in advance. Use the coming weeks that you've got between now and the summer break happening to prep and schedule all of the things that you would normally have running in your business on the day-to-day so that they are taken care of and you're not worrying about writing a blog post or having to get home and send an email when you're out for the day with your kids. Look at how many weekly emails you would need to have, how many blog posts you would need to have, whatever it is you have in your business that you publish and share every single day and week. Work out what you need to do that you can have set up and scheduled in advance so that you're not worrying about them when you're out about with your kids over the break. Step number 2 is to don't be afraid to scale things back. Be realistic about what you can accomplish And just allow yourself to do the bare minimum, knowing that it is for a few weeks until the kids go back to school. Know that you can work on all of those bigger tasks, all of those bigger goals when they're back at school. Give yourself permission to focus on the bare minimum, to do things to tick over, so that you are free to enjoy that time with your kids without worrying about things going on in your business. Step number 3 was to establish those boundaries. Know that it's okay for your kids to not have your attention 24/7. They don't need it. They don't have to have it. They don't need to have your attention 24/7. It is okay for them to go and do things and leave them to their own devices in another room for an hour or so. Remember, it helps them to learn to enjoy their own company and to use their imagination. And if they know, and once they get into that routine and they know that once they've had that little bit of time with themselves while you are working, that they get that quality time with you afterwards, you're not going to get all the interruptions. So set those boundaries, communicate it to them, and know that it's okay to let them have some time by themselves. Strategy number 4 is to not be afraid for asking for help. Do those swaps with fellow mum friends. Get the kids off to summer camps or school clubs. Ask them to stay with relatives and grandparents. Do what you need to do to free yourself up for a couple of hours here or there so that you can get some dedicated, focused, quiet work if you need to. And then remember, if your kids are old enough, it's okay to get them to help out around the home too. And then finally, strategy number 5 was to know that it is just for a few weeks. They will be over before you know it, and the kids will be back at school before they know it. So give yourself permission to do all of those things, to scale things back, to allow yourself to do the bare minimum and just enjoy that time with them, knowing that there's only 18 summers till they're all grown up and they're off to university and off doing their own thing and living their lives somewhere else. So know that it's just for a few weeks and just enjoy and embrace that time with them, knowing that you can pick everything else back up, because just like the laundry, it's going to be waiting for you once they're back at school. I hope that this episode has helped, and I hope that it's given you a few strategies and some things that you can do to help you relieve that pressure, to plan in advance so that you can enjoy your summer as a mum with an online business. Let me know which one of these strategies you are going to try first. Send me a message, a DM over on Instagram, and if you've got any questions or you want any help putting any of these into practice, I am here for you. Reach out to me on Instagram at the Unapologetic Mompreneur and let's get a conversation going. And if you are ready to turn things on their head, to take back control and design your business so that it fits around the needs of your family, don't forget to go and sign up for my Mum Boss Term Time Strategy Workshop, where I'm going to show you the exact strategy that I use every single year now to make my business fit seamlessly around the needs of my family so that I can enjoy every single holiday off with my boys with no disruption to my business and no mum guilt whatsoever. You'll find the link for that in the show notes, and I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode. Here's to having a great summer, because you deserve it, mama, and I will chat with you very soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much for joining me for another installment of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to leave me a rating and a review so that other mompreneurs can find this podcast too. Here's to unapologetically becoming the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye for now.